Morning, everyone. Today is the 15th day of the month of Adar. It is Shushan Purim. Happy Shushan Purim, everyone. Shushan is in Iran, by the way. Yeah, that's right. So hopefully we will be able to celebrate. Next year, we're going to go there to celebrate in person, right? I told a friend of ours who's actually was born and raised in Iran, Persia. I said, are we going to go there? He goes, yeah, let's go for Pesach. Let's go. We'll make a Pesach program there. Okay, yesterday we talked about what's the greatest joy one could achieve is by learning Torah. Learning the halachos of Torah connects us to the unity of Hashem. And that's where Hashem put his will and wisdom during the times after the destruction of the Holy Temple. So we try to learn every single day, an hour in the morning, an hour at night. But sometimes you say, I really would like to learn all day long. Right, Jack? Yeah. Not everybody has the luxury of a flexible schedule like you. You just pull out the Gemara. Where's your Gemara? Here you go. You just take care of the Gemara and sit and learn all day long. But other people have to go to work, right? Right, Charlie? Got to go to work. You got meetings. So what happens then? In addition to studying Torah, what about giving tzedakah? What if I want to give $1 million to tzedakah, but I don't have that kind of money, right? What am I going to do? Okay, so the Alter Rebbe gives us a little bit of a way how to deal with whatever the situation we face, how to deal with it on its level. So if Hashem grants him a greater abundance of time to study, he has an ability to study all day long, meaning it says, he whose hands are pure will increase his efforts. I have the ability, I have the time. He should resolve not just to study the minimal amount, but he should study all day long. And it says that Hashem reckons a good intention as an actual deed. What does that mean? A good intention. So even if, while his time for Torah study is limited to a small part of the day, he wants to, and he feels as if he really, he would love to sit and learn all day long, but he can't. So by virtue of his good intentions, he thus, in a sense, makes a place for Hashem down here, even though he doesn't have time to study all day long. Let's say the rest of the day is to go work, right? Okay, so instead of learning all day long, he could take some of the money that he earned and give it away to tzedakah. This is an attribute which God has. God is kind. He gives us constantly. Jack, you could say, well, what has he given me lately? Are you breathing? He made that air. So everything that we have really comes from Hashem if you keep going up the chain, right? You say, well, I got it from this guy. But how did that guy create that? He got that from the ground. That came from the tree. That came from the sheep's wool. Hashem created everything ultimately. God is merciful, so too we're merciful. Kindness is the right arm of Hashem, so to speak. And therefore, of course, Hashem doesn't have an arm, but that's why it says so to speak. And therefore, human kindness constitutes an abode for the divine attribute of kindness. So even though a person does not give more than 1/5, we have to give a 10th. But even up to 1/5, person's not allowed to give more than that. That 5th elevates with it all the other 4 parts to Hashem, so to speak, so that they too become an abode for Hashem. So again, if you can't learn all day, but you're learning in the morning and you really want to learn, you get the reward, you get the, what's a better word for it, guys? Where's Michael Aaron when I need him? You get the credit, so to speak, for learning all day because you really want to learn all day, but you got to go to work. So too, giving tzedakah, you only give 1/5 of your income, up to 1/5. You give it, you have to give a 10th, but you can give up to 1/5. But if you really want to give, but you just can't, you have to hold on to it because you got to support your family. You got to pay the bills. So you get credit for giving much more than you really gave. Adar, Maimer Avosenu Zechariah Levracha. Our sages have taught us mitzvah tzedakah shkula keneged kol korbanos. The mitzvah, the act of kindness of giving charity, is equivalent to offering all the sacrifices. Even though when it came to sacrifices, you were only giving one at a time, right? You're offering one animal. And when you gave the meal offering, which constitutes of merely 1/10 of a measure of fine meal mixed with oil and so on, but still you're getting credit for all the offerings. Similarly, of one earnings, when you give tzedakah of what you earned with your hard work, then all of your money, even the money that you didn't give away, is elevated to that level of charity, the reward for the charity. Apart from this, as explained below, that all that one has eaten and drunk and generally enjoyed for his bodily health, from the other 4/5 of his earning, is elevated towards Hashem during his Torah study and prayer. So let's say you wake up, you have your coffee, you have your breakfast, you come to shul in your car, and you're sitting on your chair. Everything that you involve yourself with, everything that you ate, and even, I'm just adding in here because it doesn't say in Tanya, but the car that brought you to shul is part of your mitzvah. Otherwise, you'd be late. You'd be walking all the way on the 280 there, Jack, right? Yeah, Paul Newman did that once also. The cops pulled him over. He dropped his car off by the mechanic and he wanted to go home. The only way he knew was the 280, so he went. Cops pulled him over. Like, you can't just walk on the highway. They didn't pull you over? והנה בכל פרטי מיני שמחת הנפש הנזכרים לאל, אין בהם אליאס נבזה בעיניו נימוס, ולב נשבר ורוח מוחה ושעס השמחה ממש. All these types of joy enumerated above do not preclude one from being shamed and despised in his eyes, or from having a broken heart and a humble spirit, even at the very time of his joy. Again, to be depressed, to be miserable, that's usur. We have to be b'simcha. But to be bitter and sad about some of the things that we did, here we're talking about, I want to learn. And I want to give more tzedakah than I could possibly give. So, but if you didn't do that, and you didn't have in mind, and you didn't daven at the right time, and you didn't learn at the right time, you should be, should be upset about it. So what's the shame? What's he feeling bad about? The Nefesh Bahamas that won that war, that instead of coming to shul, he decided to, he pushed his snooze button, and then it didn't, the next time around, he turned it off, and he didn't, I'm tired of this, whatever it is. He didn't bring his Gemara that day, and he went, he missed the learning. The joy that a person feels, okay, so the sadness and that he's miserable, that's from the perspective of his Yetzer Hara and his animal soul, that's selfish and aggrandizing. Is that a good word, Jack? But when he's happy, it's from the perspective of his godly soul, because we're going to focus on the good that he's doing mitzvahs, learning Torah, davening. Here's an Aramaic sentence from the Zohar, from the Holy Kabbalah, and says, weeping is lodged in one side of my heart, and joy is lodged in the other. You could probably figure out which side is which, right? The right side is the good, the kindness, and the holiness. And the left side is where the weeping takes place. So Rabbi Lazar exclaimed these words upon hearing from his father Reb Shimon an esoteric exposition on the destruction of the Holy Temple. On the one hand, he now felt even more keenly the enormity of the tragedy. Here, the temple was destroyed. On the other hand, he was filled with joy over the secrets of the Torah being revealed to him. So we could thus see from the Zohar that two opposite emotions stemming from separate causes can exist in one's heart side by side. You could be sad about some of the actions that you've done, and at the same time, you can be happy that you have an opportunity to do tshuva and to rejoice in Hashem. It can happen at the same time. The takeaway is a reflection to bring on joy in your divine service. That you can make every aspect of your life a dwelling place for Hashem by giving tzedakah. Give tzedakah with joy. You can feel, oh, I earned this money. For some people, it's very hard to give it. Right, Jack? I earned this money. This is my money. This is my bank account. If I give it away, maybe I'm not going to be able to take that vacation, buy that thing. What happens if it runs out? There's a lot of trepidation when someone gives something away like that. You give away money that's sitting in your bank account. Nevertheless, the Torah teaches us, give charity with joy, and Hashem is literally with you. Okay. Oops. 1 second.